Tamatea. I suppose living here, we were brought up with it, and it's just become part of our whole way of living. So in 1962, well, back in 1903, Tamatea was a rugby club, and we celebrated 100 years in 2003. Because we had a cup that we won in 1903. So that's how we knew. We tried to trace it back right through the newspapers and all that, but we couldn't find it. The earliest record we could find was 1903. So we took that as our beginning. And then just before the war, a lot of our people went off to war. And so Tamatea went into recess. And a lot of the fellas, and we still haven't got those records, were killed out there. And it wasn't until 1960, again, when the club was revived. Because children of those people that went to war, people and grandchildren, wanted to reform it. So our first, the first committee was made up of people like Ike Robin, who'd been coach just before the war. There's all the Robins from Kuipariki. And he was the coach, and the manager was a fellow called Tomoana, who was my grandfather. And prior to that, Ihaya Hutana was the club secretary. So we've got all those names just keep coming through today. So 1960, and I'm just trying to remember quickly now because Annie just asked me, the club was re-established and a junior team was set up. Now 1960, no Māori player could get into those other teams, the other Hastings teams, unless they were at the top. So there was nowhere else for any other Māori player to go. Most Māori played for Havelock, Hastings or Celtic, but there only room for 3 or 4, so all the other whānau were missing out. And the people of the day, and I'll name your names up there, Mark Sterling, who was Bill Sterling's father, and Bill Sterling died a couple of years ago. He was the first chairman or patron of the club. And then people like Auntie Lulu Robin, people like Jane Jackson, Glenn, Mark, they formed this new club. George Tawhai, who was a 2/8 battalion, Boy Tomoana, who was 2/8 battalion, Yeri Smith, who was in the Navy through the Second World War. They formed a club to cater for all the whānau, all the Māori coming from all over the country to work in Hastings so that they can get going. But they couldn't get into the other clubs. We Huata played for Celtic. Hawe Tomoana, he was killed over, he was a pilot, he was killed over in the Battle of Britain, played for Celtic. Bill Sterling and all those guys played for Celtic. So they said, let's create a club that caters for whānau who are coming in here. Let's create a club for whānau that are coming to Waddies, Shearing Sheds, Tomoana, Wakatu, and so on, so that they can play as whānau. So the first copa of this club was Ngahiwi. People from all over the country who were looking to come together in a rugby club. And that's what it was, a rugby club. So 1960, what year did you start playing? Tom?
My first game was Tamatea in 1964.
Yeah, 1964. So they started with a junior team in 1960 and they came up with a senior team in 1964. And so built a club out of nothing. Now the rest of the rugby world didn't want another club. They didn't want a Māori club, yet they wouldn't let us play for their clubs. And so here we were, stranded, but those people had the insights and and the kaha to form this club. And so we moved from no club rooms to club rooms on Alexander Street, and then to the butcher shop. We had 2 club rooms prior to this. So everyone would go to the club rooms, and it was just a place for people to gather. Rugby was an excuse for whānau to get together. And but then it became notorious, so every other club used to come to the Tamatea. And then this is probably where Annie and I come into it. We ended up picking up all the empty bottles down at the club rooms down there, and then they decided to move to Waipati. Why Waipati? Because you don't have to pay any rates. If we built it ourselves, then we don't have to pay any rent. And it's Waipati is a marae, the meeting house or the dining room over next door is called Te Kotahitanga. So it was uniting everybody, and this seemed to be a good place to be. This is a national marae, an international marae. Even though we've got a local hapu, it was opened up to all marae, all people from all over the country. And so at night and in the weekends, the players of that time came and built these club rooms themselves. They had no money, they just built it as they could afford each brick, and they run raffles in all the pubs, and they had all the freezing bricks, and that's how most of the money was raised. Crown and Anchor Calcutta, those are gambling. You fellas won't know what those are, but they're gambling nights on horses. And that's where Eddie got his job from, trying to turn the tide. But this club room was built on raffles, on donations, and on Calcuttas and Crown and Anchor. But at night, us as kids would come here and we'd see the lights on from cars. They have their motors going while people were putting brick by brick, wood by wood, and they suddenly built this club rooms. And that was it. That's just the brick part. And they did it. And we did it. And we were kids, so we saw it happen. In 1972. Anyone of you born in 1972? Yeah, well, this club room was opened in 1972. And so the club reformed in 1960. 12 years later, had the club rooms all paid off. And we opened it in 1972. I know we opened it because I was here and I made a speech. It was my first speech, so we go, get up, boy, get up, boy. And so it was a rock and rolling place in that time. It was really rock. Every Saturday night, whānau would come in and plough into it. And then we built up enough ihi around whānau that it wasn't big enough. That place was full. Every Saturday night people were busting outside. And we had live bands. The gig at that time were live bands. And we had live bands at all our pubs. And they all come and played for us too. So we had a live band every Saturday night. And that's just the way it was. So every other club room shut and everyone came here. And that's how a lot of you fellas were born. Because it's such a holy call, it's such a happy time, it was a real energetic time. Things happened around here. And so we struggled on. I mean, we had the most players of any club. We weren't winning anything. But we had the most players and most grades. And I remember one time when we won the Black and White Shield. We did win everything that year. But we had the most teams in every grade right throughout Hawke's Bay. We had the Prems, senior, seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths. We had 5 senior teams. We had a Colts team, we had an under-19s team. We had 7 netball teams. We were talking about a soccer team. We had 2 softball teams, women's and men's softball team. We had all those things. We had a tennis team. We were going berserk. Everything was happening then. And then all the work started closing down. Wakatu closed, Morrison's closed, Birdseye closed, Tomoana closed, and a lot of our player numbers dried up. Not only that, league came up, so there was a split royalty. When everybody was playing Tamatea, suddenly there was Tamatea Rugby and Tamatea League. And they sort of divided us, lessened the pool again. So the weight of numbers dropped, the split in the rugby and league sort of dwindled the numbers again, and suddenly we were struggling. So from being the top club in the competition, being the top club, we started to split because of all these other things outside of our control. And just recently, over the last 10, 12 years, we've survived. We've gone up and down, as a club, and other clubs are trying to close us down. They'd just be glad if we disappeared. We nearly merged with MAC one year, and we had a junior team, Tamatea MAC, we called them Tarmac, half Tamatea, half MAC, Tarmac. And Tate Randall played that year for us when he was at Lindisfarne. And although the juniors worked, it didn't work at a senior level, so we could have been this Tarmac team. But there were staunch people on both sides that said we needed to retain our own money, and so we had. So we're struggling along, we're surviving along. There's no one more passionate than us here in this room. When we're looking at life members, or we're looking at, one time we're looking at kicking a few people out of our club because how things go. And the kōrero came back to us, you can't kick anyone out, because once you're Tamatea for life. Whether you're a member or not, whether you played your subs or not. You're Tamatea for life. And that's how we view it. That's how we viewed it from now on. You're all life members of Tamatea. And so that's a brief history. Auntie Lulu, when Harry Smith used to pick us up on the truck, because Tamatea didn't have any supporters. So pick us all us kids up, and we jump on the back of his truck, and we go down and watch Don and the play. And Auntie Lily would see them on, come on boys, we can win here. And then after 10 minutes, it was 20-0. Come on boys, get to half time. And get there, run on with the oranges and that, and after half time, come on boys, nearly finished. We got some sandwiches back in the car. From those belief or their whakapono of those people, we're still here today. They held us together with strength and with wire and with love. And that's what's going to take us into the future. There's strength, there's wire, but love. There's love for each other and the love of being part of Tamatea. And we have a huge whānau. We just don't tap into them. It's not about players on the paddock, it's about the players who have been and the players who would have been and the whānau of the players that'll make us included and inclusive again. Okay, the best performance though is on the paddock. So we still dream about being the best on the paddock. And we know that comes with sacrifice, hard work, but we know we've got the talent. Matt, we know you've got the talent to coach, and you've coached talent, and there's talent abundant. But there's still a stigma about Tamatea from other players and from other clubs and from schools. They still see us as the drunken, drugged up team or club, and nothing could be further from it from here on in. So kia kaha, kia uru. We didn't get a licence last year. I think that's a good thing because it makes us explore new options for where we go. So that's it. We're Tamatea Rikina. We're here now. We're here forever. We love you fellas on the paddock, on the netball courts. We love you fellas in the committee, in we'll do anything to support you. So, there we go.
Good on Ngahiwi. Just a bit of a heads up of what's happening over the other side there.